Okay, today let's talk about AtCoder regular contest 185 problem A. First part is description. You are given two integer n and m. That means Bob and Alice will play a card game. They both have n cards from 1 to n. What they need to do play a game. They can played one card at the same time and place it on the table. First, Alice will play it first, then will be Bob. After that, Alice Bob, Alice Bob. After they when they are playing this game, if the sum of cards on the table is divisible by m. After Alice played a card, if the sum of the cards on the table is divisible by m, and Alice will lose the game. That means Bob will win. In contrast, after Bob played the card, if the sum of the cards on the table is divisible by m, the Bob will lose the game and Alice will win. If anyone cannot win the game, as a result, Alice will win the game. This is the description about this. What we need to do is return the result. If Alice and Bob are both very clever, who will win the game as a result? Okay, this is the description about this problem. Next part is solution. The most important about this problem is the last card or last several cards. Let's take the example. We don't need example actually. Actually, there is only one case for Bob to win the game. That means when he have only one card after Alice played her last card, they can make the sum of the cards as a specific number because the only card that didn't play on his hand. That means he can operate this situation. In order to make the sum of the cards on the table before he played his last card divisible by m, so she can make some strategy. Actually, let's take the sum of all cards. That will be n plus 1 multiply n and divide by 2. This is the sum of cards on everyone's hands. The sum of two people's cards, all cards, will be this. This is n multiply n plus 1. This is the sum of all cards on both people's hands. In order to make the sum of cards before Bob played his last cards divisible by m, so we should make the sum of is we can make the last card on Bob's hands be this number. That means if the Bob have these cards, so the sum of cards on the table will be divisible by m. That means the sum of is okay, actually we don't need to write it down. That means if Bob have these cards, n multiply n plus 1 modules m. If Bob have the cards before when Alice played his last cards, the sum of cards on the table will be divisible by m. at that time, Bob will win the game. This is a strict limitation because um, um, in order to Bob Bob have this card, we need to this number in the range between 1 and n. So what we need to do is to check if this number is in this range. If it is, Bob will win the game. In contrast, Alice will win the game. Because if Bob cannot win at this time, Alice will always have, when Alice have several cards to play every time, if the one card can make the sum of cards on table is divisible, if this card can make her lose this game, she don't need to play this card. She can play another one. Any other cards will never make her lose the game. So there is always another option for them to play. They will never lose the game if she is clever. So the only operation for this game is the last card. That means Bob will play the last card. Okay, I think this is the solution for this problem. Next part, let's talk about complexity. Actually, for the both time complexity and the space complexity, we also don't need extra time or space to store these variables. So the time complexity and both space complexity will also be O1. This is all about the solution and this problem. Thanks for your watching. Hope you enjoy.